Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome back to Deadly Horizons. My name is Jeff.
I'm Sharon.
And today joining us, we have Dead Man's Curio. How's it going?
Doing well. How about you guys?
Not bad. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, Sharon.
Interesting topic today.
Yes. Sharon brought this to me because she's a collector of sorts. So, tell us about yourself. What do you collect exactly?
So I collect a few things. Over the past few years, I've really honed in my collection and focused on certain stuff. My background comes from over 20 years having exotic animals, doing some breeding, and I started collecting animal oddities, and then collecting those for a few years. I met some other collectors that dealt in like medical bones, like human bones, and caught my eye, started collecting those. And then after a few years of doing that, I stumbled on tribal artifacts, and that's where it really caught my attention and fascinated me with the history of these tribes and the pieces, the art that they make, and I've been hooked ever since.
I remember you were mentioning that when we were kind of doing our introductions yesterday. How do you have contact with these tribes? Do you have an actual source? Have you been to any of the locations where they're
I haven't yet.
Yeah.
Eventually I will be making a trip over. I have a friend who actually has been visiting the tribes and getting tattooed by some of the people in the one of the Dayak tribes. A lot of my stuff comes from museums, galleries, and other collectors all over the world.
I'd be worried about cannibals going to visit tribes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't want to get eaten.
yeah, there's some tribes that aren't. It's kind of a misconception with like them being cannibals. They don't just kill people to eat them. The only time it was ever really done was in an important hunt or revenge on another warrior, and they would eat. Yeah. I'm sure everyone's probably heard the saying, "The fruit of the man," talking about the mind, and they believed that very much. So they would really only consume the brain, and it was only like high-ranking warriors or chiefs in the village, and they believed doing that would absorb the power of the warrior.
Oh,
that's
okay.
Cool.
I thought it might have been the heart.
No. And they use a lot of symbolism in their art that they do, especially with some of the pieces that are involved in headhunting. Like I can show you, I have a headhunting drum, ritual drum from the Osmat tribe in Papua New Guinea. And there's certain carvings on it that symbolize, and they use symbolization of certain animals. And the couscous is one, and the hornbill, and they use those animals because they eat fruit. So fruit-bearing animals with the saying of the fruit of the man. So they use that to symbolize on certain pieces in their tribe to represent the rituals of headhunting.
Yeah, we'd like to see that whenever I think you're going to give us a tour. So definitely put that. You can start anytime if you like. It sounds really interesting.
So this is the drum, and it still has the original monitor skin on there. And this pattern here, this curl, and then on this sago plate too, has those curls. They use that to represent the tail of the couscous, and here is the hornbill beak. And then this is one of my cases that has like all my mandaus or parang swords. These are what were used in either ceremonies like weddings or for headhunting. I have like 27 now of them, and they're all from different tribes.
When you say headhunting, what does that mean exactly?
So it could be a couple things. They would either do what would be called like a headhunting raid, where they would go to a village and basically just attack everyone. It wasn't every tribe. A couple certain tribes were very aggressive.
Yeah.
Mainly, it was other warriors that they would take heads from. But there's two specific tribes that were very feared, and one was the Ebon, and the other was the Marut. I'm taking out definitely my oldest Mandau here, and it's
Is
from
there
the
a
Ebon
time
tribe.
frame when this would have occurred? Is this, I mean, modern, or is this a couple, like
No,
50 years ago?
yeah, like 1800s,
Okay.
1800s.
Okay, yeah.
And they believe even up to the late 90s that it was still being practiced.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, they're super detailed. This
Such a
one,
great piece. Look at that. That's
yeah,
gorgeous.
this one's
Yeah.
almost 300 years old.
Wow.
Do you get vibes from it? Does it have like an energy that you can feel?
Yeah, it's hard to explain, but seeing this stuff in person and holding it, like there's definitely something there. Just thinking about the amount of miles that it's trekked in the jungle and what it's seen. But this specific piece came from a very large collector in the UK, and he actually got it from someone in the family. It was with them for a long time, and it has at least 3 heads confirmed.
Wow.
Could be even more. This one here is from the Marut, and this is a good example for a couple reasons.
Is that human hair?
Yep. This is one of the reasons why it's a good example. Is every time they'd take a head, they would take tufts of hair and they'd put it on the sword.
Do you think that cannibalism was also part of this ritual? That they would take the heads. Is this when they would maybe eat the brain?
Sometimes, yeah. It wasn't all the time. And I actually have some trophies I can show you in a minute, but this one also is special. It has hair trophy trinkets in it. There's 3 of them inside of this. And this is the only one I've ever come across that had it. And one thing too to point out, these carvings here, they look like little horns. Those actually are meant to represent leeches, and they have little small, it's hard to focus, but little small ones up there. And they would do these carvings on certain mandaus, basically because leeches feed on blood. It was done on mandaus where the blade was meant to taste blood, so to take heads. Because like I said, like this one
makes
here,
sense.
Yeah, this one here is a ceremonial one that was probably more for like weddings and in other ceremonies for like a good harvest or whatnot. And then my other case over here, I can open it up so I can get a better view. These are my trophies. I have paperwork from a couple of them. This one here came from these 2 up here are Melwai trophies. It's a certain region in Indonesia, but this one was field collected by Francis Koppen. He's a very famous Dutch collector and dealer, which I have paperwork for that one. And then this one here actually came from the late Billy Jameson. He owned the Niagara Falls Museum, and he had a show on A&E called Treasure Hunter.
Yeah.
This one here was actually in his personal collection in his house.
It looks like both the eyes are filled with something. What's that?
So cowrie shell, and then seeds as well, and they would mix beeswax and sometimes charcoal, and they would block the eyes on most of the trophies. The belief in a lot of the tribes were it was a way to trap the soul in the skull so it couldn't escape and haunt the tribe or bring bad luck. And these ones, let me try to turn this guy here. They're a half skull.
Is it weird to think that these are beautiful to look at?
No,
that's part of why I love them so much. The carvings are incredible. Now most of these are cleaned off. I have a couple more down here. This one is my oldest one. This is early 17th to or late 17th to early 18th century Kayan. And this one's crazy for one reason. And since I just showed you the Mandaus, let me see if I can get it. There's these. It's hard. Let me get in the light. See that? Those like that divot there is a strike from a Mandau. It's kind of hard to get on camera. I don't know if you can see it or not, but
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
and it's also really hard to get on camera. But there's a lot of like tiny scrapes and scratches on it, and it's
Yeah.
from when they actually scalped the skull.
Oh,
You
wow.
can see the marks. And this is my last one that I have. This one's a very unique one. It's a mix of Ebon and Kayan, and the wrapping of the vine, the rattan vine, is what the Ebon would do. They'd wrap their skulls and they'd hang them from their longhouses, which is where the villagers would live. And they had like men and women longhouses, and at the men's longhouse was where they would keep all the trophies. This one's also carved, but it's not cleaned off. A lot of the trophies, they would actually clean them off so that the collectors and being displayed, you could see the motifs that they carved into them. This one's a rare example. I've only seen one other. The other was in Billy Jameson's collection. What makes it special is the trophy itself is from the Kayan tribe, and the wrapping was done by the Ebon tribe. And what would happen is if a female from the Kayan tribe got married into the Ebon tribe, the Kayan would gift them one of their trophies. The Ebon would wrap it, and then it would either be gifted to the groom or the parents of the groom.
Could you imagine living in a society where this is commonplace? Where you have skulls hanging outside and you give one as a gift?
Oh,
And then down here we have some different hilts or handles from Mandaus. They're super ornate, super nice.
do you
Different
think
examples.
the handles, are they they're obviously bone, not wood, the top of them?
Yes. So these examples here are all bone. They're actually deer antler. And then there are other examples I can show you in my case that are wood. It just all depends. The Bonin tribe would do a lot of theirs in wood. That one's wood. That one there. And then these different ones on the end have wood. But yeah, it would either be wood or deer antler. And then let's see, past the tribal stuff, we have some other skulls, a piece that I made here. I got a fused spine here. And then this.
Were those death head moths you had back there?
Yeah.
Those are great. I got a couple from Vietnam, and I'm trying to stretch them out, and I broke some wings off, so I got to repair them.
Yeah, and I'll show you. I have so this right here is a really cool piece. It's really old. It's hard to see. It's carved, but this is what's called an oats J. There was either the oats J, which is this one, or a bipane, which was made from a clamshell, but the oats J is made actually from human bone. So someone that they headhunted, they would make this ornament, and it would be put through their nose, like through their septum. And the only people in the tribes that you would see with this piece is someone that took a head. So they had to earn that.
Wow.
And then these are some of my really nice Mandaus from some very high-end collections and galleries. And also, too, with the leech carvings, this one's got some pretty big ones. The bigger the leech carvings are, too, would show the ranking of the warrior. So the bigger the carvings, the bigger or higher ranking.
I love the leech meaning. And Sharon, are you kind of thinking or wanting the same thing as me? I wish I was in his room so I could smell. I'm sure this all has a nice aroma.
I think I'd get the heebie-jeebies.
Really?
So it's funny you mentioned that. And these are all like super tiny glass beads on the Mandau.
That's intricate.
Yeah.
It makes me laugh because my girlfriend thinks I'm crazy because when I get in new Mandaus, I actually will smell the blade. And I learned from a very long collector who was actually visited and done photography of the tribes. You can tell the difference in the smell of the metal to whether it's native iron or if it was traded. So
Right.
if you noticed on the Marut Mandel that I showed you with the hair trinkets, that
Yeah.
red fabric on it,
Yep.
that actually came from a British soldier. There was,
Right.
they did have British soldiers in that area in like the 40s, I think it was, and they would do some trading with them to either get iron, materials like fabric and stuff, tobacco. And I actually have this one came with one of my Mandels that I got not too long ago. So I can show you the difference. So this is called a pizzo route, and it's the knife that they would use to carve the scabbards for the Mandaus and the carvings on the skulls. This is what your normal average one would look like. And then in one of my Mandaus, I got a super rare treat. This is a British knife. So the warrior actually traded this with a British soldier.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's, I've been collecting and studying these tribes for about 7, 8 years now.
That's a long time. So
And
you got expert status.
I'm still got a lot to learn, but
Yeah.
that's the first one that I've ever come across.
That's pretty neat. The blade you showed before that, that they were using, you said for the carving, it looked
Yeah.
like, how do they make that steel blade from? Or did they get it from like a traded item and just made their own?
Yeah, it was either, like I said, natural iron that they would extract themselves, or trading with soldiers in other areas. And then this is something I just got in my collection as well. This is a full skeleton that I've been wanting since I started collecting, and this one's got actually a special background to it. This is a full skeleton from the organization called the Knights of Pythias.
Yes.
It
I'm
was.
aware of that.
Oh, are you?
It seems like they're almost extinct.
Yeah.
I'm a Freemason and also an Odd Fellow.
Awesome. Yeah. So that's so cool that you know then. And
Yeah.
it came with a hat. Yeah, it was founded in 1864. I got it in a big medical auction just like a month ago, and you got a couple flags that it came with too. They're just super fragile because they're so old.
I don't think there's any, I don't know if they practice anymore, but everything you find is antique. I have a little, like a pin that has the same
geez.
symbols on it. Yeah.
Yeah, then I have, this is my bookshelf. I just have a whole slew of tribal books and stuff. Some that are like really old, like this one's from I think like 1940 or 1930 or something. And then this one here, and then this book here is actually by Francis Copin. So there's a lot of really good trophies in there. And then some other ones here. I got it's. You'd be surprised how much money tribal books can be, because some of them are very rare. Like this one, the Cult of the Skulls. Pull it out real quick. Golgotha. There was actually only 400 of these printed in the world by Martin Douster.
That's cool.
Yeah, I was able to luckily get my hands on one, and it's in pretty good shape.
That's an interesting title of Golgotha.
Yeah, it's, and actually this one, this is from the Papuan Gulf. Actually, a friend of mine has the skull in his collection. It's incredible human history. I think that's like one of the biggest reasons that it drew me to collecting the tribal stuff, is kind of the brutal nature of the history, but also just the tribes themselves, their beliefs, like their art. it's pretty crazy to think too, especially with the Mandals, like that these people were in the thick of the jungle of Borneo, and they're making these crazy ornate art pieces. I don't know. It boggles my mind.
Imagine being a European soldier or traveler coming across them to study them, and there's that fear of, will I become a trophy? You know that.
Yeah.
I was watching a recent YouTube video, and I don't remember the YouTuber's name, but he was trying to infiltrate and see if they still do any cannibal practices. And off camera, they kind of got them to admit it. It's usually because it was a war thing. It was like a war trophy, a
Yeah.
revenge. It's not really just they crave it. You know, it's not cannibal holocaust.
No, yeah. There was either like, say, if we were in different tribes and I killed your brother or did something, then revenge would usually be taken. I actually just sold a piece earlier this year of a Mendy revenge doll. So that was actually in Billy Jameson's collection. Also, they're super hard to come by because they're all made from plant matter, so they're super fragile.
Yeah.
And to last that long. And also, the biggest reason is the whole point of it was supposed to be a vessel for their loved one that was killed. It was supposed to reside in that doll, and then they would take revenge. And then when revenge was taken, they would do a whole ceremony, and they would burn the doll during the ceremony. So technically, with that one, unfortunately, revenge was never taken.
Oh, okay. Yep.
That'd be cool to see those ceremonies.
Yeah, I've seen some old videos of some stuff going on, and I've been lucky to meet some people, actually Dayak tribesmen, like modern day ones, and they've shared a lot of information with me, shared some footage of some ceremonies happening and stuff like that. I will visit at some point. I just haven't had a chance, but I will make it over there to visit at some point. It's a dream of mine for sure.
You should turn into a documentary. That's
that would be cool. Yeah.
You just record it and see what comes of it, and just because it's a teaching tool. I love watching these.
Yeah.
So fascinated by it. Maybe I don't know if this is your full collection, or if the next story is Shrunken Heads. That's something that huge interest in.
So I don't have any yet. I do have friends that have had multiple, and either just regular shrunken heads, like what's called like a Taurus shrunken head. There's also Taurus pieces for the tribal skulls and stuff. So what that means, it's a real shrunken head, but it was made for the Taurus market. It wasn't a ceremonial one. So when it comes to shrunken heads, the Sansa is the one that is the most infamous. That's the one from the Shuar tribe in Ecuador. And those are the super rare ones. And I have my friend in the UK that I got that Ivan Mandau from. He actually has multiple and has a super rare one that still has the mouth sewn up and has the bamboo stakes in it. And those are super rare. His is the only one I've ever seen. The reason being it was never finished. So it's extremely rare to come across something like that. But those are big money.
What time period do you think
I'd imagine.
Sorry.
No, so you go. I'm just going to say that everything's really expensive.
Yeah.
What time period are they coming from, the Shrunken Heads? Because I don't think they're not making new ones, right?
No.
There's no modern ones made.
Same thing. Like all this stuff kind of happened around the same period, like 1800s.
Okay.
Even into the early 1900s. So, because like most of my tribal skulls, 3 of them are 19th century, and then that 1K, and that's like late 17th to early 18th century.
What makes you think they stopped making those?
Well, the missionaries that were going over, which is a sad part of it, and the reason why a lot of these pieces were brought over to like Europe and in the museums, is these anthropologists were studying these tribes. There's a couple that I've really followed a lot of. I have books from them. listen to audiobooks and stuff. Tobias Schneebaum is one of them. He actually lived with the Osmot tribe for like 4 or 5 years. Really learned in and out of them. He learned and spoke their language fluently. He had a best friend that was a curator at the Metropolitan Museum in New York City, and he would go there all the time and do tours and teach about these tribes. And actually, my friend has the skull that was gifted to him after he left the tribe. And he talked with the curator at the Met for, I don't know, it was like close to 10 years before he was able to get his hands on that skull. But they were doing trading with the tribes like frantically because the missionaries were going over and they were saying, you know, like, this is bad. You shouldn't do this. You got to follow God and be Christian. And they were destroying these pieces of human history of their tribes. They were erasing them and literally destroying this stuff. So the anthropologists were trying to trade as much as they could with whatever they could to get these pieces out of there before everything was erased, unfortunately.
There's a lot of scammers trying to sell stuff. Is there a way to tell if something's like really, I mean, obviously most of it's probably real and I don't know, more recent that they're trying to sell, scammers would probably be selling. But is there a way to tell if it's actually legit old?
Yeah. So, it happens to a lot of new collectors, and especially when it comes to tribal, it's a very niche. I wouldn't say market; it's a niche group of collectors.
Mm-hmm.
For that reason, that it is very hard to tell what's authentic and isn't if your eye isn't trained for it. When I first started collecting, I got ripped off quite a bit. Because I didn't know what I was looking at. And after years of collecting and getting authentic pieces in my hands, seeing authentic pieces from other collectors, it's kind of hard to describe or really tell you how. Biggest reason is the carvings. There's certain carvings that you see on tourist skulls that you don't see on authentic. And another way too is the thickness of the carving. Like if you saw on these, they're super ornate, super small, and they're pretty precise with the carvings. And when they did that too, it was freshly after they scalped the skull, so the bone was still kind of soft and easier to carve. But there's a certain carving style. It's like the dragon or Aesop, which was a dragon dog effigy that the tribes believed in and worshipped. And tends to be the style of carving that you see on tourist skulls. I have some of my Mandaus that have it. They would do it on the Mandaus, but never on the tribal skulls.
Right.
So that's like a big reason, and also the shape too. Actually, I can show you. I keep sitting down, getting up. I'm sorry.
You get lots of exercise.
I think probably a big tip is to look for collectors like yourself. Just buy from a reputable source instead of
ask around
a new person on Facebook that has the count 10 days old. That's probably a red flag.
Yeah.
I've actually talked with a lot of newer collectors. When I see people posting or whatever, I try to, as much as I can, talk to people and let them know, like, hey, just FYI, this isn't what you think it is.
Yeah.
It's gone both ways, where it's gone well and people receive it well and they thank me for helping them, and then it's gone the total opposite. Mad, which I understand, because it was thousands of dollars, like 10, 20 grand worth of stuff that was not legit. I consider it my tuition. It sucks, but one way to tell is the Indonesian skulls have a very particular shape. So I'm trying to compare it with this. Like you can, especially like the eye sockets are like a real square shape in the cheekbones. I don't know if you can kind of notice the shape.
And maybe Sharon, you know this is as well as our friend here. The fake ones, What are they made of? Is it a real skull or is
Yeah,
it?
yeah. So
Yeah, I believe because of the COVID epidemic, a lot of skulls went on the market because
From
they
people
weren't
dying
getting
from
buried
COVID?
properly.
I mean,
Yeah. Well,
how are they
that's
sourcing
what
these
was
fake
hinted.
ones?
That was hinted at in some of these news
Yeah.
articles that I read because of the epidemic. Because now India has banned the sale and import of um, body bones,
yeah,
body parts. I don't think they've enforced it, but I don't know, or something. But it's just like, yeah, like people are either just disposing of their loved ones. Hey, they've passed away from COVID. I don't have money to bury them or cremate them, so we'll just dry them out and sell them. I don't know.
yeah. I
That's
haven't
kind
I
of
haven't heard
cool.
of that. But
Yeah.
some of the tourist skulls too would come from the region that they would actually come from. But what it was is these people in the surrounding villages of the tribes, um, and that's where they get the name the tourist skull is because these
Yeah.
people, that didn't have a lot of money, when these tourists and anthropologists and people were coming to visit because they were fascinated about these tribes, people in the surrounding villages would say, hey, I have a tribal skull, and they literally would make them to sell to tourists. They are
Yeah.
real skulls, they're just not made or were used in a
They
ceremony.
weren't. Yeah. Okay.
So it's still kind of cool, but probably overpriced.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
If you want a
that,
human skull, it's still cool.
yeah, I mean that's also another way to tell too is pricing. Um, for a human skull, like they kind of, yeah, I guess you could say they're overpriced because tourists tend to be like 12 to 1,500. Because if someone took the time to carve it,
Mm.
and I've seen some really nice ones. It's pretty rare because most of the time they're not that great, but I've seen a couple. I was like, oh wow, that's really nice looking actually. But
Mhm.
just mainly because of the carving and how well it was done. But yeah, it's just a huge difference to like a tourist skull that's 1,500 versus an authentic that's 7, 8, 10, 20, 30 grand.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And they're probably also they want the fact that if you think it's a recent skull, that could cause concern of where it's coming from. If you're thinking it's something from the
yeah,
1800s, you're not going to be concerned about where did this come from? Who just recently
Yeah.
yeah,
died
If
that
it's
year?
from a cold case.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's yeah. Like I stated before, I've been collecting like over 10 years. Um, there is the unfortunate part of possible grave robbing. I've come across it a couple times. A lot of the times it's from people in like Indonesia that, find graves, or like you mentioned India too. The laws in these different places
Mm.
aren't the same, and there are mass graves in
Yeah.
Europe and stuff where there's just literally a pit filled with bodies. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I've run into a lot with collecting human pieces for years, where a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's not right, this and that," and to each their own. Like I get everyone's belief, but for me and a lot of like serious collectors, the
Mm.
respect that I have for these
Yeah.
remains
Yeah.
is, and
Yeah.
for in my eyes, it's giving homage to the people that's passed it and giving them a better place than, like I said, in some places where they're just in a pit piled on top of each other.
Yeah. So
On that
I
note,
don't. You go, Jeff.
honestly, on that note, do you think that there could be concern of any bacteria or disease with these more modern skulls that are coming from these massive pits?
Um, I haven't run into that or hadn't seen any that happen at all. A lot of times when the people get these from there, that I mean, they'll clean them up and stuff like that. But I mean, it's kind of, you don't really know, I guess. A lot, like every time I handle my stuff, I'll wash my hands. My girlfriend yells at me all the time, but and a lot, like I'll wear gloves sometimes and stuff, handling pieces. But most of the stuff I have is medical bones or ones that are cleaned up and really old.
Have you had items not allowed through customs that you've purchased? Because
No.
that's what worries me, buying something overseas and then customs going, nope, it's got a bit of dirt on it, or no, it's a skull. You can't have it.
No, yeah. I haven't run into it. I actually was just talking to my friend that's in the UK, that massive collector, and he was telling me a story about a tribal skull that he sold to someone, and he's pretty sure was stolen, because it got shipped there and then it got held up in customs and stuff, and then all of a sudden it goes dark. The tracking isn't going anymore. The person says, "Oh, I never got this and that," and we're talking $15,000 skull. So there's definitely some worry, especially where like
Yeah.
the pieces are very expensive. But I haven't dealt with anything that's really caused an issue. He actually ran into that with a piece that he recently got. It took like 2 years for him to finally get it. And he sold like 80% of his collection to get this piece. It's an extremely rare, and he's like one of 3 people to have ever owned it. I have pictures I can send you, but it's what's called a Munduruku trophy. It's from Brazil. It's like probably the holy grail of trophies when it comes to tribal collectors. There's only 22 that are known in existence. And 18 of them are in museums, and 4 are in personal collections. 2 of them, which were in one personal collection. And these are like the top of the top, like extremely wealthy collectors, because these are like a mid 6-figure piece. Yeah. He sold 80% of his collection to get the funds to get this piece. And then between taking the like 9 or 10 months to raise the funds for it, and then eventually it being shipped and having it stuck in customs, and he had paperwork for it and all that. It was all up board, but because of the nature of the piece, because it has skin on it, they're wild, incredible pieces, but it took like almost 2 years to get to them.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I just spend that much on anything for collection.
Yeah, it's insane. That would be a dream piece for me. There's a few like that, the Sansa, but like it's probably unattainable for me because of how rare they are. So these guys that finally get their hands on them, like they're most likely not going to let it go, because it's not like you're going to be able to come across it. And that's the thing with especially the tribal. Once you see these pieces, and it happens to me a lot, and I spend money that I shouldn't. But they're one of a kind pieces, and I could see it. And the only way I'd ever be able to get it, if I don't get it when I see it on the market or it's been offered to me, is finding the person that bought it and trying to get them to sell it to me. Yeah. Every single mandau is totally different. Every tribal piece, all the carvings are different. So it's like, if you find it or come across it, you have to get it, or there's a possible chance that you won't.
Okay.
I have a question on, so the word taboo, that could mean a lot of different things. So I'm thinking, is there any items that are considered taboo that you guys would not want to collect, such as are there children's skulls?
Yeah. I've owned a couple. I've owned, I had a fetus at one point. It's all medical stuff. I mean, I guess taboo is a subjective thing. It's all going to be on who would or is willing to collect it. I have a friend who's a massive collector out in California. He probably has the most insane collection I've ever seen. He has tribal stuff, but he just is a collector of the super rare, like medical type pieces. Like he has deformity pieces, conjoined twins. Like it's absolutely incredible, the stuff that he has. Like even he has like, what is it, Cro-Mag, like millions of year old skulls from like different humanoids, and
Wow.
Yeah, like Charles Darwin signatures. Like his collection is
Does this person's
unbelievable.
name begin with F?
No, but I
Nope.
think
Okay.
I know who you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. That
It's
person's
not.
got a pretty big collection too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And this guy puts his to shame. Not. And I respect him so much as a collector. Who you're talking about, his collection is crazy, but we're talking like what you see he has is what every room in this guy's house is like.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Like he has hundreds of skulls. He has dozens of full human skeletons. It's the most crazy thing I've ever seen. Like every single one of his room in his house is just filled to the brim. He collects a lot of stuff from like the Aztecs. So he has a lava stone bloodletting bowl from the Aztec tribe.
Wow.
Like just some stuff that you're like what? How? It's insane.
There's obviously a lot of money going into these
God,
people's collections. Is this sort of stuff insurable? Like, can you insure it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess technically you can. I've heard recently about like it's actually kind of funny that an ad has been coming up. I don't know, probably because I've talked about it, but like about collectors for insurance. I don't know. I feel like that ad was more towards like figurines and stuff like. But I mean,
Yeah.
there is a value to them, so technically, I think you could insure them. I've had a few people,
It's a lot of money to spend, and someone breaks in and goes, "Oh no, I'm not taking your TV, but I'll take that skull."
You should call Geico and see if is there a policy on that personal property for human remains.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work. I probably should look into it because I do have quite a bit of money in pieces, but
that could be a really cool side gig. That could be like an alternative insurance company,
right? Yeah,
where everyone invests into it. Collect their funds, but then it help them become somewhat solvent if there's a claim they have to make. That could be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm sure there's not many places that do it. I haven't looked into it yet, but I probably should at some point. But so earlier you mentioned the death heads. I brought out a couple of my displays that I've made for my business that I wanted to share with you guys. So these three that I'm going to show you it's so hard with the glass dome on it, but these are three of the newest pieces that I've made. There's like 9 death heads in this one.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
Yeah, this one took me like almost 30 hours to make.
I'm getting birthday cake vibes. That's what I want for my next birthday. Like that.
Oh, mud cake.
When I posted the build of this piece, you can find it on my TikTok. And a lot of people said that like, is that a cake? And I was like, no. I'm like, I don't think it would taste that great. Here's another one I just made. I got this in this hand in the same auction that I got that Knights of Pythias skeleton in. And the base on this one is Vivianite crystal or the corpse crystal.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but it's a crystal that can, in certain situations, can grow on or inside of a corpse.
Okay.
That's so cool.
I'm really, really proud of this one. Really happy with this. This is an ocean one. I've never done an ocean piece before, but really
is now a good time for you to shout out your website where folks can buy these items.
Yeah, the on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, if you just search Dead Man's Curio, it'll come up. These unfortunately I cannot ship. They are super fragile.
Yes.
Yeah.
So right now I've just been doing like local pickup at expos and stuff. I'm working.
The coral's kept its color really well.
Yeah. Yeah, the big blue piece, and some of these smaller pieces I got from a dealer. Full Circle Reefing, and they actually grow this coral to sell, and then monthly they make contributions to coral. Having a brain fart on the word I'm looking for here, but they donate to conservation efforts to keep the coral reefs safe, and
That's cool.
Which is really cool. When I found that out, I was super happy to get pieces from them. And it sucks too because this stuff it looks awesome on camera, but it's so much better in person. There's so much detail that it's so hard to tell on camera. That's why most of like whenever I do my videos or pictures, I always have the domes off. But I got a couple more torsos up here as well. So now here's one thing I can show you on these guys. These 3 plus my full skeleton are from the 1800s. And the way you tell is the cartilage is the original cartilage. And when they're a newer one, they would use a synthetic material instead of the original cartilage. And they actually stopped doing that in 1850.
And you can tell the gender by the size of the pelvis, can't you?
Yeah. And then this one here is from the Adam Rowley Company. They were a very famous provider of medical skeletons to universities and different colleges and doctors and med students and stuff.
You ever thought about teaching online a course on all this?
I've had a few people tell me because my girlfriend's probably sick of hearing me talk about it because I have new people come over and you know I give them the whole spiel, a tour of my collection, and I've been told by a few people like you should be teaching this stuff. I love sharing it. It's probably my biggest passion, and just like I said before, the history behind these pieces is insane. It's a piece of human history I feel like is forgotten or most people don't even know about. I actually have a friend who has a tattoo shop in Concord, New Hampshire, and I'm actually going to be doing a presentation at his tattoo studio because he's really big into the Japanese culture and the old school tattooing. He did a whole big presentation of all these like Japanese masks that were used in plays and stuff in like the early 1900s, and was showing the history of it. So I'm going to kind of do the same thing and show all my tribal stuff and kind of do a little presentation and a little teaching. It's a lot of fun to share with people because, like I said, most people don't even know about it.
No,
or they don't understand it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Is there? Do you collect any other items besides that?
Yeah, I mean, I've collected a lot of stuff over the years, and I've sold a lot. But one of the things that I really like to collect is petrified wood.
Oh, okay.
So and this piece really shows an example of why, because to me it's incredible. Like that doesn't even look like wood. It like if it's old enough, it can opalize and crystallize. It's fascinating.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I've got a few pieces. But yeah, I've collected a bunch. Like I said, a lot was like animal stuff. And then, so I have a wet specimen of a baby gaboon viper here.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. This has the largest fangs in the world for a venomous snake. And it's the most venomous snake in Africa.
Oh.
Cool little guy. And then I got a monkey and a saltwater crocodile, a baby one, because it's tiny compared to what they can get.
Yeah.
And then this piece is a fascinating piece. Sorry, let me see if I can get the glare off of it. This is actually a fragment of a mummy. I believe it to be the heel bone. It's hard to tell, but this is over
4,000 years.
Yeah, I've got a heel bone in my collection, and it looks bigger, but very similar because mine's not mummified.
Yeah, this piece was collected in 1886. I have paperwork for that piece. I got it from a good friend of mine, big antique dealer. He got a whole lot of it. He auctioned off a few of the pieces. Still has some of the stuff that he'll try to sell at expos and stuff. But we've been friends for years. We shared a cabinet at a antique shop like years ago. But the last show we did together, the Odd and Unusual show, he actually gifted me that piece.
That's
which
cool.
insane. Yeah, because I've always wanted. My dream would be to have a whole mummy, but it's another very expensive piece and super hard to get. But even just having that piece is a dream. It's pretty incredible piece of history.
Yeah.
Came out of Luxor when it was collected in 1886.
Where's it? Where's Luxor? That sounds familiar.
And in Egypt.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Another place to go to see.
Yeah.
Egypt.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't live there anymore. He actually just moved back to the States. But another guy that I met through collecting is a very big. He was a very big dealer and just curator of shrunken heads, and he lived in Egypt for a very long time and would do tours out there and stuff for people. And I wanted to try to get out there to visit him and have a tour, but he ended up moving back to the States, so never got a chance.
Man. Wow. You definitely need some Indiana Jones type adventures. I could see
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like fedora on and
Yeah.
New age Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
modern because we got the gaze deers, the tattoos,
Yeah.
Yeah.
submerged truly into the tribal experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of tattoos and tribal, it's something I forgot to show. It's actually a tattoo stamp from the Dayak tribe. Flip the camera around here. I used to have a tattoo kit, but I sold it years ago. And like every collector, you have pieces that you've sold and you regret, and that was one. But this is a super old piece of ironwood that they carved, and this is that dragon carving that I was telling you about.
Yeah.
So this is that type of pattern you'd see in the Taurus skulls, but this is a piece of ironwood that they'd carve, and then they'd put their ink that they'd make on it and stamp it on the body, and then they'd do the tattoo, the tapping.
Cool.
Yeah.
I've only come across this one so far. I haven't really seen them on the market.
I make my own stamps too.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's like the rubber one, right? Like that you carved.
Exactly.
Is it lithograph? Yeah.
Yeah. Similar. I make these for friends, and
Yep.
true. That's Jeffrey Dahmer. So I draw it, do a rubbing, and then you got to carve it out. I like wood better, but this is quick and easy with the rubber.
Yeah.
I'm
sure the wood takes a lot longer.
Way longer, but so much cooler.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't know that you could do it out of wood. I haven't seen that. I've only seen the rubber.
It's
rubber one.
Not many people do anymore.
I did it on lino at uni. I did lithographs using lino.
You lithographs? I used to
It worked.
What's that? It works?
Yeah.
It's a cool process. I did a lot of printmaking in college. We did a process called intaglio, where you take like a zinc plate and you cover it with like a wood finish, and then you take different tools and you kind of carve out the wood finish, and you put it into like a bath of light acid. It eats up the metals, and then you get the printmake paper. You get it wet, and then you run it through a press. And you make a lot of prints from it. But yeah, again, these are way easier to do at your desk. Easier, but not as cool, and not as cool as what you have. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Ultimate stamp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sharon, you have some items, so I don't have. I have like a wet
Oh,
specimen of a squid, but
okay.
Oh,
Yeah. All right. Hang on. I'll grab them because I'll have
yeah.
to bring them up.
And I don't know if you're familiar with our podcast of a lot of our episodes. So what she and I collect a lot are inmate letters and artwork, especially from the
yeah,
infamous.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I've
definitely
seen
not worth as
a
much.
lot of that. I have some friends that have a bunch of stuff like that, and um, I think it's up in my girlfriend's office, but I have a small vial of Charles Manson's hair.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's cool.
there's a few strands of it. So I got it from a dealer of serial killer items, and so supposedly where it came from was a barber that worked in the jail.
Oh,
That used
okay.
to cut their hairs, collected some, and snuck it out.
Smart.
Yeah.
Real
And
smart. Yeah.
it's not a whole bunch, but there's a few. There's like a handful, maybe half a dozen strands in there. I forget how many, but it's the only piece that I have.
Man, I think one strand of his hair could go for like $400 or $500.
Yeah, I got it. I don't even know how many years ago now. I've had it for
Yeah.
a long time.
I
That's,
lost I lost my heel bone. I've got
oh no.
I've got a finger bone. I've got as in not we'll go non-human first. I've got a whale vertebrae, a
Nice.
horse head. I've got a fox head, horse head, and I think I've got a meerkat or something that Henry Scragg sent me. I can never
Oh,
remember
yeah.
what sort of head it is. But as far as people, I've got my femur. I think femur or tibia, one of the front
Yeah.
leg bone. Yep. And I've got my shoulder
Yep.
bone,
Yep.
half of a pelvis,
Nice.
and I've got some rib bones.
That's cool. And
But
I'm going
yeah,
to elementary school. I'm like the leg bones connected to those. That's what
yeah, and I have to have surgery. I'm hoping to get my finger amputated, so I'll have a finger bone too.
you're hoping. Well, I know it's
Yeah,
painful, but you don't. Most people see they're hoping to have it amputated.
Oh no, I know, but like I've had
Yeah.
surgery on it like three times.
Ooh,
I can't,
looks
and it hurts.
crooked.
So
Yeah.
it is crooked. It stays
Ooh.
crooked.
Yeah. It's not a happy camper.
So I'll ask if I can keep it.
Shit.
It's hard. I tried I don't know how long ago, like 6 or 7 years ago. I had gotten diagnosed with testicular cancer, and they had to remove one of them. And I was like, "Come on, man, let me keep that bad boy." And they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, we got a biopsy."
No.
I'm like, meet me in the middle. Cut
Oh,
it. Keep
yeah,
half.
yeah. I used to have my dog's testicles because I used to be a vet nurse. So
Oh,
I had
yeah.
my dog's testicles in a little specimen jar, and at parties I'd go, "Does anybody want Nobby's nuts?" He'd be like, "Yeah, we'll have some nuts." So I'll
Some
bring
party
out his nuts.
Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, I ended up having to get rid of it. Kim
Yeah.
really got sick of me bringing out that joke. So
That would never get old.
I ended up
That's funny.
disposing of them. Yeah.
That's crazy.
But
Yeah.
no, a noggin is on my wish list. But obviously I've got to be very, very careful from whom
yeah,
I purchase to get an ethical piece.
yeah.
Yeah.
Skull would be your best bet.
Yeah. So
And Sharon, for you,
any advice? Yeah.
are
sorry.
you allowed to? You can own it, right?
In Australia, we can own it. We're not allowed to buy or sell, but we can own.
So it can be gifted, essentially.
It can be gifted.
Like
So generally here,
yeah.
people just get around it by, I see on a lot of Facebook posts, it's like, "Oh, would you like to buy this photograph?" They show photographs of,
Oh, that's an expensive
yeah, and then
picture.
you buy, yeah, it is very expensive photography, but you know,
Ansel Adams type work. You can have it
Yeah.
framed. But I like that. That's a
yeah,
good way.
yeah. You can buy the frame and get some extras free. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they don't need it anymore. They took pictures of it here. It's like a door, one of those door stops or
Yeah.
wow,
Paperweight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
a paperweight.
Yeah, paperweights.
Yeah.
So, just a final question from me. So, what would your advice be to people looking into entering this hobby of collecting, well, remains, basically?
The biggest thing is to just kind of be patient and get into groups and talk with people, and definitely try to find reputable sellers. I know a ton. I've been doing this a long time. And like I said earlier, I try to, let people know who the reputable sellers are. There's definitely a handful to a good amount that are legit. Because when I first started collecting, scammers were like pretty much non-existent. And at some point, someone found out or realized like how much money is in audit. Now it's like it's constant. I guess the biggest thing is PayPal, like goods and services.
So you've got the extra security.
Yeah, just in case.
Yeah.
But I mean, the people that if people want to reach out to me through my business page and ask, I'm always more than willing to share friends of mine that are extremely trusted sellers, and more than happy to do goods and services. For me, because I've known these people for years, like I'll do just friends and family, but to newer purchaser, to newer collector, you definitely just do goods and services. If at some point you feel comfortable and they've done right by you, but just goods and service and finding the right people, it's just really hard nowadays because, like I said, the amount of scammers. But if anyone listening to this really is interested, please reach out to me on my business page on either Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok. And I can definitely.
And that's Deadman Curio. Yep.
I'll put your information in the description too. And I like your shirt. You got merch on there too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
A shirt that I just had made. It's designed after a piece that I made, which you'll be able to find on my socials and see the actual piece. But
very cool. Well, that's all I have as well.
Yeah, that's all I've got too at the moment.
It's been an honor. So,
I'll message you if I have any more questions.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Sharon, she'll be after you. She'll have questions for you.
Yeah, I mean, you guys can hit me up and shoot me a message anytime.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Great.
All right. Well, that's we'll call it good. I'm Jeff from Deadly Horizons. This is my co-host.
I'm
Stigl.
Yep, Sharon in Australia. Stigl.
I appreciate you guys very much for having me on.
Thank you, Mr. Deadman, as we will refer to you.
Yeah, thank you, Chad, for coming on.
Yes.
Of course. I appreciate it.
Good night, everybody.
All right.
This is for the Deadly Horizons True Crime Podcast.